All right, good people. So this is the Hyte X50. It's a complete departure from their previous design language because all the exterior, interior corners that used to be corners now are completely rounded, and there's a lot of design that went into this enclosure. Beautiful butterfly, by the way. And there's also a lot of function that's built into those curvature elements, both on the exterior and in the interior. Everything is rounded off and smooth. It's not velvety. That would be like the next step up when you touch the solid steel and you feel a little bit of something that isn't just cold metal. But right now, everything here on the exterior just feels really, really solid. Even though the white feels like, or maybe looks like plastic, this is complete solid steel. And actually there's a lot of design complications and engineering that went into making sure that this is a curve, and it's a proper curve with a full ventilation that spans not just where normally the fans are located, but as you can see, it spans basically all the way to the edge of that front panel, giving the enclosure a really, really unique look with this ventilation panel that, of course, is going to act as your dust filter at the same time, because there is no dust filter here. And this metal mesh, as we've seen with many other enclosures, is good enough to capture some of the dust while also being non-airflow restrictive. This micro mesh front panel is reversible, so simply pops out. And you would think having so much perforation that it would be a little bit more flimsy. I keep mentioning Corsair for their lack of build quality, but they should learn something from many, many other companies in this field, because this is complete perforation. You can see just like it's less than maybe about a centimeter off from the perimeter that does not have the micro perforation. This curvature was very, very complicated to make. They've gone through many revisions. They tried to come up with different ventilation pattern and ventilation holes on these rounded corners so that you would still have good structural rigidity while still having that design. Oh, and I can use this as a little shield from the sun that just came out. The front panel also acts as a beautiful hors d'oeuvres plate in case you're in a pinch and need something that will collect all your drinks, all your snacks, that also is very comfortable to hold. The right side panel is also full ventilation, just like on the front, following the similar curvature like you would have on the front panel and at the bottom. So there's this beautiful consistency, and including this corner right over here. It's not a hard corner, and that just goes to show that they've really tried to give us a little bit of a consistent design like they have done with many other of their Y enclosures, where the exterior and interior ventilation patterns kind of match to each other, and they've kind of followed that principle here as well. One of the most interesting elements about this enclosure, aside from all the other curvature, is actually this curved tempered glass panel. It is 4 millimeters thick, and it's also laminated. It's laminated because obviously when we're dealing with a curvature of a glass, that will cause some complications with the yields, and actually doing curvature on tempered glass is quite difficult. So laminating it not only reinforces the structural part of the glass, but it also gives it really, really good acoustic treatment. So like you would find on a windshield of a vehicle. So right now, for example, I'm speaking, but and then, you know, when you can go speaking, and so the glass is actually really, really good sound there. So much. I love it so much. Another advantage of the lamination process is that in case the tempered glass breaks, that you normally breaks into a million pieces, the lamination process will preserve all the pieces together, so it might be a slightly easier cleanup. Before we talk about the interior, let's talk about this front panel that is going to have 4 locations. So just like we've seen from Lee, from Corsair, the actual bracket is adjustable, giving you a little bit more depth on the interior or exterior, depending on how thick and thin your radiator and push-pull configurations are. Then we have this ventilation pattern at the back that is patent pending in what they call Louvre blade ventilation. It's not subtractive because we're not removing material. Instead of stamping it out, they bend the metal, so we're not removing any material, so it actually is really, really sturdy. Like I can't even bend this ventilation pattern, which is normally is quite flexible on the back of the enclosure. And even the PCIe covers have the same ventilation pattern. It's really good for airflow, and it's actually good for noise too, because now we have a little bit less resistance on everything that is coming out from, especially the rear exhaust fan. Now let's talk about the interior. So first of all, the power supply has been moved to the top in its own little chamber. It is metal, it is curved, that matches everything on the inside. Like the actual angle of this curve is very similar to what you would find on the actual panel and the glass and everything like that. So we do have an opening at the bottom, obviously for our power supply to breathe, that will also act act as a little bit of an additional exhaust. The bottom ventilation has a dust filter. It will support triple 120mm fans. And also you can see the area around the fans is slightly open so that they would accommodate thicker cables like from the Link ecosystem, from Corsair and others. They've thought about making sure that when you are trying to install front ventilation, bottom ventilation and side ventilation, which is not a bracket but just a structural piece that will still support a 360 radiator, it's quite easy to install because of how much space we have. And it is starting to rain. All right, now let's talk about the front I/O cable. So it's gonna feature a USB-C 20 gigabits per second, so USB 3.2 2x2. We also have dual USB-As over here with a combo headphone jack. Oh, we have a little bit of water, it's okay. But one interesting thing is, Eber, can you find where the cables are routed? So for example, if I rotate this at the back, we have the cables coming up from the bottom, but normally this type of cable channel could be coming from somewhere at the top where the I/O is located, but Hyte has done the unthinkable. They've created a separate channel for our I/O cables that goes right in the corner over there. That way it hides, first of all your I/O cables, which are perfectly white, that matches the case. Oh, there you go. It is starting to go. Yo, can you get my bag?
Yeah, hold on.
Get my bag. Go. Oh, with the case. Get the case. Get the case, dude. Eber, it stopped.
Let's go.
Okay, so while the computer is completely wet, let's talk about our case feet. So right now, the white and black model will come with these tube feet, which look quite unique and also match with the curvature, but the colored ones will get what they call paws. So all 4 color variations will get a slightly different foot. We have the black and white, and we have 4 really fun options that come with the paws for the feet. Lava red, or whatever they're calling it, looks absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to have a little bit more of the customization options. For example, if you get the black enclosure, you'd be able to buy the red paws for the case for a little color accent. What? You disagree? No way. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. As for the interior, it is not BTF compatible, just a standard ATX motherboard, and I don't think you can even do eATX just because it might extend into our side ventilation. And in the back, our hard drive cage is completely metal. I was not expecting that to happen. We have these rubber grommets and some Velcros to help with cable management. So overall, I would say it's a really interesting addition into the case space just from a design point of view. And the price point of view, given all the engineering challenges, the curved tempered glass panel, the unique structural... Oh, it's starting to rain again, get the umbrella! So price-wise, we're looking at $149 for the glass version for the X50. And there's also the X50 Air that replaces the glass side panel for a fully perforated panel like you would find on the right side, which would be $119. And I would say for the type of design language that is visible on all corners of this enclosure, it is quite unique and competitive. And one interesting element, Iber, you can see over here, we have this gold plaque over here. That's the only logo that you would find on the entire enclosure. Normally you would find something on the inside too, but here it's gold for the first 1,000 units. Up to 10,000 units, it will be silver. Up to 100,000 units, it will be bronze. And after that, beyond, it will be just a glossy black. So it actually gives you kind of a really cool, almost this first owner's perspective to see which batch of cases you will order. And that way you know how many of these have been sold so far and which category you fit in. It's a useless little element, but it's still very fun. The tower system that we saw looks absolutely gorgeous with all white components, and I think that's going to be a recurring theme maybe later in the year, where not only are the cases becoming more consistent in color and different variety of things, but also the components were going to start to become a little bit more case friendly in terms of the variety of colors that are going to be available to us. So as it's starting to really pour, I'm going to sign off. Thanks so much for watching. Let us know what you think of the X50 by Hyte, and I'll talk to you in the next video.